Before I begin this, I wanted to say to all my secret society members, to my practitioners in Santeria and Voodoo all across the world, and all the warlocks, you know you're not going to shut me up, right? You know you can't keep me quiet, right? And keep the magic coming. I'm digging all of that. Now, what we have on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, while we've been distracted with drones and aliens and weird man-made fires all across the world, we in America, we are in the first place here with children that go missing, 300,000 children. Now, what really drives me up the wall, like, how can anyone cross this line and take innocence from a child? How dare you take a child from someone's home, splitting them from someone's family? That, my friends, here is very hard to forgive that type of action. And anyone that crosses this line, I don't have any words for you to take this innocence. And for most of you, that this happens to someone that's in the family, it's so hard to forgive you. And for you practitioners that out there, that you take this life because you want to gain power of a soul. Not only do you do that, you even take the life of an animal so you personally can get ahead. Listen, I can forgive, but this right here has crossed the line. And most of you that do this have children, have daughters, have sons, and you do this to others. Like, make that make sense. You wouldn't want that done to yours at all. That makes me come to this to remember this movie here. If you haven't seen it, go watch. Who can blame Samuel L. Jackson's character for taking the matters into his own hands? Who can blame that? Any father would. Okay, let's stop playing with this. Let's stop playing with this. This needs to be on top of the list, and to all of my agencies out there, where the heart of this stems from is a place that starts with a V and ends with an N. Now, these tunnels, notice that our mainstream media here doesn't cover anything of this one that happened in New York. And why doesn't the mainstream cover this? Because the ones that pay them don't want you to know. There's no updates. There's no nothing when it comes to this story. But hey, you ain't gonna shut me up, right? You know that, right? You know that you crossed the line, right? You gonna have to pay for this, right? Okay, let's go into this. Let's come to California, where there's a museum here called the Getty's Museum. Here's the 405 here. It's a beautiful museum. Now, just to add, during the California recent fires, where fire seemed to skip valleys and cities and hits other places, right? The Getty's Museum did not get burned, ladies and gentlemen. This is a top view of the Getty's Museum for anyone that's in sacred geometry, right? There is something here. What I'm going to focus is right here where you see that circle and the dot. I couldn't get a really good top view. This is all the view I needed. This speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen. This sign and symbol you are looking at is telling you about this maze that they've got going. Not only is it a maze, this looks like a key. And this same key is at a location that starts with a V and ends with an N. Here's another way that they transport people that or people aren't aware of, submarines, underwater. Genius way of doing it. Why? Because all you have to do is control the Navy and the Coast Guard. Remember that song? In the Navy. And we know that all captains of ships have to take an oath. Yeah. Oh, you didn't think I know that either, huh? Thanks to William Cooper for that one. Okay. Now, let's go to... the Museum of Human T-Word. Sad that I've got to say it like that. Let's go to this one here. This one is called Sunday Morning. The average age, at the bottom it reads this: the average age for a human T-word is between 12 and 14, but the younger a person is, the more it costs to buy them. And the older they are, the cheaper it is to buy that person, because when you're younger, you're easy to manipulate. Just for a disclaimer, for all the victims that has had this happen to you, okay? Because there's nothing I could say. There's no medicine. There's no anything that can cure your traumatic event. The only thing I know is that you're going to have to ask the divine creator of all things to heal this thing, because this is very internal. And I want everyone that I've been a victim of this. 1 out of 3 is girls, 1 out of 5 is boys. Okay? And I'm going to ask and beg you. I'm going to beg you with this one, that if this has happened to you, the buck stops with you. You do not, and I'm begging you, you do not send a ripple effect and affect other people because you went through this traumatic event. I'm begging you, please do not do that. We'll find a way somehow to mend this traumatic event that some women have told me about. This one here is the Flower Sellers of London from the collection of the Walker Art Gallery. The labor for child victims of human T-word are different than from the older ones, which involves recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipts of children for the purpose of exploitation. The commercial sexual exploitation of children can take many forms, including forcing a child into prostitution. And as they do say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Now, to all of my authority members, all the agencies, this should be on top of our list to stop, because this is embarrassing to be the leading of the world here. And I understand that this is an uphill battle because we're dealing with people in high places, a lot of power that can take out a whole bloodline of your family. Let's not play no games with that. But I must ask all of my authority members, but isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth it? Man, this is your boy.